Hey everyone, Shark here, bringing you another Genshin Impact video about how to make Kazuha's Echo trial in the Imaginarium Theater super easy. I've had a lot of people tell me this trial is one of the hardest things they've ever had to do in game, and someone even told me that it took them over 3 hours to complete it. And that is just entirely too much time and effort, so that's why I want to give you the strategy to make it as easy as possible. So let's talk about what the easiest way to do the trial is. But why would you want to do the trial in the first place? Well, completing it unlocks this little cosmetic wind trail that follows Kazuha around as maple leaves drift behind him. It also lets people know that you completed the trial, and given how much trouble a lot of people are having with it, it will make them think that you're a gaming god. So how do you complete the trial and avoid all the headaches that everyone else is having? Well, first, to start this trial, you need 2 keys from Imaginarium Theater in order to unlock it, and then you also need a level 90 Kazuha. Then just use your keys to unlock the Kazuha trial in the Imaginarium Theater zone and begin. The first thing to note about this trial is that it consists of 2 combat phases and 1 puzzle. Most people get stuck on the second combat phase, but the others can be a little bit tricky too, so let's go over them now. The enemies in the combat trials have tons of defense and resistance, but they take a good amount of damage from Swirl, so you want to constantly be using Kazuha's skills and burst. The enemies in the first phase tend to just be outside of Kazuha's pull range, so you want to position yourself to hit all of the enemies. The helichurl archers can be a particular annoyance, so run to them first since they don't move, and the other enemies will follow you. The first wave of enemies spawns in the north and south of the room. Just stand in the center and use Kazuha's skill and burst, and face slightly more towards the north, or you can miss the helichurl archers. Wave 2 spawns slimes in the east and helichurls in the southwest. Run to the helichurls and use your abilities on them. Wave 3 spawns enemies to the east, and you can just use Kazuha's skill to pull them all together and then burst them down pretty quickly. After that, you finish the first combat trial. The next thing you have to do is a torch puzzle with 3 pyro monuments that are just outside the range of Kazuha's skill. You'll have to use your burst a few times here, but luckily your energy refills automatically over time, so that's not really a big deal. To complete this puzzle, you'll first want to use your elemental burst in between the torches to light up the torch on the right. Then run to the left and use your skill in between the left torch and the leftmost pyro monument to light it up. Then run to the right and use your elemental burst in between the right torch and the 2 pyro monuments. You'll want to stand with the torch to your left, 1 pyro monument in front of you, and the other pyro monument to the right of you before you use your elemental burst. Once you light up the torch and the 3 monuments, a wind current will appear, and you'll need to take this up and use Kazuha's skill to get some extra height and enter the final challenge. This is where things can get really tricky, but with the right strategy, it's actually pretty easy. What you have to know about this trial is that you need to use Kazuha's infused elemental skill Plunge to close the elemental monument in the center of the room in order to beat the trial in time. The first monument is Electro, so once you start the trial, run to the right and hug the Electro slime until it attacks you. Sometimes it's shy, and if it doesn't want to attack you, just restart the trial. You'll restart from the final phase so you don't lose anything. You can also run to the Electro slime, use Kazuha's skill, and then glide to the monument and plunge, but I don't really like this method as much. I just find it way easier to get hit by the slimes, sprint to the monument, and then use your skill there. Also be careful not to get hit by the Hydro Slime, because if you do and you try to use Kazuha's skill on the monument, it can mess things up. Once the Electro Monument closes, use your Elemental Burst and skill to take out the helichurl rogue. It should be much easier to defeat now. After that, there's a second wave of enemies and the monument is Cryo this time. Once again, run to the Cryo Slime and let it hit you, and then run to the monolith and use your skill to slam down on it with your Cryo Infusion. Just be careful not to have the Electro Slime get too close to you or the monolith, because the swirl reaction has a priority system built into it, and Electro is above Cryo in that priority system, meaning that if the Cryo and Electro Slimes are near you or the monolith, it will swirl Electro, not Cryo, and that will not close the monolith, but it will waste precious time. This is also the reason why I said you want to avoid being near the Hydro Slime and getting hit by it in the first wave during this phase, because it'll just mess up your ability to close the monolith. Once you close the second monolith, use your elemental skill and burst to knock out the Hilichurl rogue and you'll beat the trial. It may take some practice, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of things. I also recommend using the sacrificial sword if you have one, because it can help out a lot by letting you use your skill twice in a row. Now that you've beaten the trial, you can equip your Kazuha Echo in the same character menu where you equip your different wing gliders, and voila! You are now the proud owner of a new Kazuha Echo and you can show off to everyone. I hope the strategies in this video help you out on this trial and make it a lot less frustrating. If there's an Echo trial that you need help with, let me know in the comments below, and if I've done that trial or if I have the keys to do it, I might make a video on it and just tell you how to do it in the most painless way possible. That'll be it for this one, everyone. I love you, stay jawsome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.